tried to do this video probably 10 different times, and every single time I've aborted mission. I'd much rather talk about sheep than myself. But in light of this week being our Let's Talk mental health advocacy and the Do More Ag campaign that was launched this week, I thought maybe it was time that we talk. Remember that nightmare that you had in high school with public speaking? I can't remember when I had the nightmare, but typically you also have no clothes on. This is the equivalent of that for me. It's going to be all about my journey into sheep farming, why I'm here. I don't want to talk negatively about family and farming and all that stuff, but it definitely played a role in my life and a role in becoming a sheep farmer. I have to be very choosy on my words. It's going to take a lot of editing. The journey to where I am here today all began, I guess, when I graduated university. I went to University of Guelph for 4 years and got my degree in agriculture business. That's when I met Mark. We worked for DuPont as research students. We hit it off right away. We were dating within a couple weeks, and a year later we were engaged. And the year I graduated, 1998, oh my God. That is kind of when life began for us, for sure. I'm gonna go right back from the very beginning. In 1997, Mark's dad and mom came across a large broiler breeder operation. After the farm was purchased, there was a lot of unforeseen circumstances in that first year. The business was going south fast. It took a toll on our whole family. Mark came home to help. He quit his job. He had a contract position. His brother quit school early, and he also came home to help out. They managed to work together. We had a lot of people, you know, a lot of industry people that helped us and worked our way through it. I graduated in 1998 and I came home. I worked for a few months for just a grain company, and then I put on my work boots. I said, no, I want to be in a barn. Mark's brother and dad welcomed me with open arms, and I started working with them alongside them. When I came on board, we really just focused on future growth and future improvements. We worked together as a team really, really well for a lot of years. Fast forward, 2000, I had my first child, Jack. I don't think anybody can appreciate how selfish we are as an individual. We are self-motivated. We are self-involved. We are really just have no idea what it means to give someone else life. And even when you get married, you're all of a sudden sharing yourself with someone else and your plans, and you kind of have to meld and move. And my dog is barking. I had Jack in 2000. I had my daughter in 2002. They were 20 months apart. When I was pregnant with Jack, we were in the middle of building a brand new barn, broiler breeder barn, that I was going to manage at home. So I was going to be by myself managing that. It was up and going 6 weeks after I gave birth to Jack. Yeah, it was hard. Fast forward about a year, and Mark's parents got divorced. That ripped our hearts out. When I came to be with this family, I moved away from my home. So I moved away from my friends and my family, and his family became my safe place. We were a tight unit. We'd come over for supper almost every night because I hate cooking. So when that fell apart, likely due to the stress of everything else that was going on, it was a lot to contend with. I was also pregnant with my daughter. It doesn't matter how old you are, when your parents split up, it is really hard. That was a hard time for Mark and I. We got through it, and we still love them both very much, and they're a huge part of our life still, and everything has worked out for the best, as it always does, because always someone has a better plan than we ever do. But when you're in the thick of it, it feels very dark, and it feels very scary. In 2004, I developed a really bad case of insomnia. I don't know if any of you guys have had insomnia in your life, maybe even just a night. I don't think really there's anything more torturous than not being able to fall asleep. I was going from room to room, bed to bed, couch to couch. It didn't matter what I did. I tried routines. I tried everything. I tried everything. I tried everything. A tired mind starts to play magnificent tricks with your body and with your mental capability. We are all just made up of wires, and when we are sleep deprived, those wires and those cylinders are not firing. You know, mental health is an illness, and there are a lot of triggers that can set it off. Insomnia for me started to create some deeper issues. I started to become a huge workaholic, because when you can't sleep, guess what you do? You work, or your mind doesn't shut off because you can't sleep. So then you just think about all the stuff you have to do the next day. This went on for 4 years, and I did not get help. I did not go to the doctor. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go to the doctor. In 2008, I finally said, I need help. So I went to my doctor. She prescribed me a sleeping pill. I was also put on an antidepressant at the same time, because life was just starting to, it was just becoming overwhelming. I know, looking back now, I should have got help a lot earlier, but I just didn't take the time. It started to even me out, which was really good. And the family business was starting to succeed. We were starting to build more barns. We were doing really well, but as a family management unit, we were starting to really drift. Our goals and our values were not aligning. No one really knew what I was battling. I didn't even know that I was sick at the time. I wasn't mentally functioning well. Finally, it just hit a bad day. That was the day Mark and I decided that I needed out of there, out of the chicken operation. I was just circling down the drain, and he lifted me up, and he walked away from a larger family operation. To walk away from the bigger business was probably a lot, and it weighs heavy on me. It weighs heavy on my heart that I feel like this is really raw, and I always get emotional when I talk about this. I feel like I made him choose. I think at the end of the day, he chose me. It's an amazing feeling. It means I have the right person to walk through my life with, which is awesome. That was getting a bit emotional. I am a true believer that to get through this life, you need to surround yourself with people who love you and who support you and want to see you thrive and you succeed. And I am lucky enough to know that I married someone that is that person for me. That day, that TSN turning point of our life, we sat on the front porch for likely 4 or 5 hours, and we cried a bit, and we just didn't know what his dad was going to do. And his dad has always been amazing to me and to Mark and to our whole family, and he did not let us down. He came through and said, you know what, that's fine, we can make this work. You guys have been a big reason why we're successful, and I want you guys to still manage all the grain operation, which is what we did. Everything worked out really good. From that day on in 2011, we finally were able to create the farm and the life together that we had wanted since we got married, since before we got married. We'd always wanted to farm on our own. The only thing that changed was for me. The industry that I was in and my management skills that I had been building for 13 years was done. I had to walk away from an industry that I really, really liked and that I learned so much from. I think for my own mental health, it was the right thing to do. I still wonder sometimes, because that's the way my brain works, is like, where would we be today? I don't know if we would be as tight of a family unit as we are now. It's made our marriage stronger. I was really angry when it all went down. I was really, really angry. I felt like I was doing the sacrificing. And again, it was this mental torment all the time. And I think it took me about a year to finally find that place where I wasn't resentful. I was content and I was happy. All the people really close to me would comment on how much happier I seemed, and at the time I didn't know I wasn't happy. 2011 was a year of closure. We renovated the old barn across the road because we had decided that I still wanted to be in a barn. That's where my heart is. It's where I have always been. It was Mark's idea to get sheep, to be honest. The industry showed huge potential. I grew up on a dairy farm, So I didn't give a lot of credit to any other industry besides dairy when you grow up. It's funny, dairy farmers seem to be that way. We are just so loyal to dairy farming. But then when I got in the chicken industry, I was like, this is the bomb. I loved it. Then when I started going touring sheep farms, when I was interested in sheep and I did a few courses, I was like, this is finally the one I really, really want to be a part of. I got my first sheep in 2012, and my life was forever changed. We blended the two worlds of grain farming and sheep farming. We named our farm Shepherd Creek Farms, and life was just finally starting to kind of come together. I'm almost 43. Looking back in my 20s and my 30s, I'm always like proving myself. And I think it took me a long time to figure out, I gotta stop blaming people for the problems and blaming situations for my problems. And I need to start owning what I do and who I am, my strengths, my weaknesses. Own them and celebrate them. It's what makes me who I am. After 9 years of fighting, well, it's been more than 9 years. It's been like 14 years of insomnia. But after 9 years of medication, I got off them about 2 weeks after I started vlogging. Say what you want, but maybe I needed an outlet. Maybe I needed to use the creative side of my brain. I was talking to a good friend last week, and she's just going back to work. So she's juggling that. You know, I have a little baby at home, I'm trying to make my farm work at home, and I really need to work because we need the money. And her job is a very creative one. She gets to use her mind. And I said, embrace that. You need it. I need it. Looking back and reflecting and seeing what this vlogging has done for me, I wasn't using the creative side of my brain. All we do as soon as we step foot into this world of adulting is work, try to prove ourselves, try to be successful. And we drop that whole part of our brain that was wired for creativity, the thing that we have when we're a kid. And I think we all need to embrace our whole person, and I think that's where I'm at now today. I've been able to reflect, and reflecting has been really healthy for me. I have been so inspired this week by our agriculture community talking about mental health. The fact that we can unite so well when we have a common goal and a common cause. And it was so refreshing after a year of seeing some not great things online that literally breaks my heart. There's so many people that are really, really struggling. I've struggled pretty much my whole adult life. And to know there'd be people that would judge me in a negative light makes this really hard to do. I want all new producers and all producers that have been doing it for years and years and years to embrace the journey. There is gonna be really shitty days. There's gonna be just euphoric days. And we're all in this together. And if this week's any indication, you have a lot of people you can reach out to. I'm surrounded with some fabulous people in my life that have lifted me up from some pretty dark places. Farming is hard. There's so much out of our control. We need to stay healthy. We need to stay healthy for ourselves. We need to stay healthy for our animals and our plants and our families, because there are a lot of people relying on us. And that's pressure all on its own, but it can also give you a reason to make sure you take care of yourself. So that is me in a nutshell. I dumped on you this week. I'd like to thank everybody in the Do More Ag campaign. We need this so much in our industry, and it's so encouraging to see people embrace it and want it and know it's needed. So thanks for watching, and please, if you do need help or you want to talk to someone, please reach out and talk to someone. There's so many people that can help.